Hey guys, I'm so excited now because I love this girl. She's so talented. She's a model. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. I'm so excited because we're going to have a bomb conversation. So please give it a round of applause to the most beautiful girl I know on social media. Por favor, den un aplauso a Stefania, por favor. Por favor, den un aplauso, por favor. Hi, baby girl. How are you?
Good. I'm so good. I'm so happy to be here with you. Thank you for having me.
No, and I'm so excited because people that don't know me, I'm Danelly. I'm a singer. I'm a dancer, and I'm doing this conversation on social media with a lot of model influencers that they have, wonderful platform to get to have a lot of influence on people. So I'm excited to be here and we're going to be talking about a very interesting topic. And it's interesting because the world is changing, like I was telling you, and I don't know, it's fun, and people love this type of conversation, right? No,
Yeah, I think definitely when you see sort of revolutions taking place in front of your eyes, it is really exciting and you to be a part of it and to witness it.
exactly. So people, we're going to be talking about, going vegan. Why is it good to become vegan? And young people that are interested on vegan, how to become vegan. Why is it good? Some people do it because of the animals, obviously, and some people do it because of their health. For example, me, I struggle a lot. I struggle because when I was a teenager, I have food poison, and it was worse. I was gonna die, and it was horrible. Like, it was just horrible. And when you're young, obviously you're like, oh my God, you love to eat, obviously. So imagine at that point not be able to eat at all because you can't, even if you want to. So now, since then, I don't have like my stomach doesn't process the food correctly. So it's hard for me to be able to enjoy food. And I love food. Like, I really, really love food. But like young girls are going through like a lot of changing and a lot of diets, a lot of things. So for your point of view, why did you become vegan?
You brought up some really good points, when you're younger and especially for women, I think there is pressure on men too, but for women there is pressure with diets and staying slim and looking a certain way. And I'd love to talk more in depth about that. For me, going vegan, I think it was mostly, I'm such a big animal lover. I love animals. And I think I just felt like I needed to align what I loved and what I believed in with my actions more, because I felt hypocritical, eating meat, but then loving animals and loving lambs and loving calves. And I just thought, I just can't keep this up. And so the perfect excuse arose for me really when my mum, I think it must have been over 10 years ago now, she said, that's it, the whole family were going vegetarian. And this was after she saw a truck full of animals tightly packed on a really, really hot summer's day. And she witnessed it and it just shocked her. And I think she was, ready for an excuse as well for the family to go vegetarian. So she made that move and I was really happy with it. And so at home, like mum only cooked vegetarian meals. And then last year, another excuse arose where my sister decided she would go vegan. And my whole family, including my dad, who's, in his 60s, mum and myself, we all decided to support her and support ourselves, the animals and the environment in the process. And so the whole family went vegan. And we've been vegan now. Well, my sister's been vegan over a year. And for me, it's going to be my veganiversary on the 1st of January.
Wow. It's so beautiful because, for example, my sister, like I was telling you, my sister, she became vegan because she was watching Netflix, and then I don't know the name of is a document. I don't know, like it's a meat something about food.
There's a few documentaries on Netflix, like some really good ones. Like there's Cowspiracy, Earthlings, Forks Over Knives, Game Changers, which focuses more on the health aspect. But yeah, Netflix is full of them. And the new David Attenborough one as well. It talks a lot about meat.
Her mindset completely. She was like, sister, I'm going vegan. Like, I can't. The food that we're eating it's horrible. Like, people don't understand that. Obviously, what I was thinking, like, oh, I'm gonna live in a farm and I'm gonna have my own chickens and I'm gonna, you know, everything natural. But not all people can have that life, you know. They like the city, they like to, but they don't know what they're eating at the same time, you know. So it's horrible because you don't know how harming it is for your body.
Yeah, and there's such a big disconnect. Like, we're eating it, but we don't see like the majority of the process that food had to go through to arrive on our plate. So it's so easy. And this is why I don't blame a lot of people, because they just don't know, they don't really want to think about it. And because they don't have to be part of the process, it's so easy for them to just sit and eat it and just ignore the rest of the information.
Exactly. And I think young people, because for now, like now, when back in my days, I remember there wasn't like restaurants doing vegan food, and you were like, oh my god, now like every single time people will ask like, oh, I'm vegan, do you have, like, no, we don't have that. But now it's all over the place. People are going vegan because they're realizing they're actually learning what they're putting,
they're waking up
in their body, right? And because at the end of the day, you start feeling better. You start realizing that, oh, I'm sleeping better. I have more energy. Like, hello, you know, it's all those stuff that it's very important to people to know, you know?
Yeah, 100%, because not only do I think it gives psychological relief to you to align what you believe with your actions, but it also, I think, it's very good for the body if you have a well-balanced vegan diet. You know, there's a lot of animal fats, and there's a lot of scientific proof now of just how detrimental diets with animal products that are high in animal products are bad for our bodies too. Yeah. And the overconsumption of it as well. People have it almost every meal, people that aren't vegan or vegetarian.
Exactly. And for example, like I was telling you, when young girls, like for example, you're a model, right? And young girls that want to be models, they want to, you know, this industry is not, it's not easy. It just like the singing career, like they have their bad people and bad intentions and bad everything. So when they say modeling, they automatically they're like, oh, I need to be super skinny, I have this, or I can't eat that, I can't eat whatever, like bread, right? Like, why aren't you eating bread, you know?
There's such a big there's this stereotypical idea of what a model is and what a model looks like. So when someone says model, your brain, because we've been taught to view models in a certain way, just automatically thinks skinny, tall, you know, these measurements. Like, you just got these ideas in your head of what a model looks like, and, you know, doesn't eat much, sort of thing.
And it's crazy because when my mom was young, when she was little, she suffered from, you know, like she loved to eat. So she was chubby, and she would go to her school, and she was the only Mexican. And she went from Mexico to LA, and she was Mexican. So they would bully her. They would wait for her to pick her up. She would pee on herself because it was horrible. So she had a rough life when she was little, right?
And that's horrible.
Exactly. So when she had me and my sister, it was hard because even though she didn't know, she was putting that on us. And meaning, if we started eating, she will be like,
because she wouldn't want you to experience what she experienced. She wouldn't want you to go through the same bullying. So in her mind, that's worse than, you know, maintaining a slim body because of how bad it was for her. Yeah.
But I didn't get it. At that moment, I was like, Mom, she would make me feel bad. So what happened, I wouldn't eat. I would stop eating. So I'm like, no, because like I'm getting fat. And that was in my head. I was like, no, what am I doing? What am I doing? Right? And when I grew up and I was like, you know what, Mom? It's you can't do that. You know, my little sister, she's growing up, she's young, and she wants to be a model. But you can't. But now that she's really skinny, now my mom is like worried. You know,
Yeah.
it has to have a balance. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it can't be like, oh, or you know, extremely like obsessed with your weight, and then you lose a lot of weight. It's like you have to be healthy. That's the point. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
and our bodies will naturally find a sort of weight that they're happy with. I mean, you obviously have to work on your diet and make sure that you are eating healthy food and you are nourishing it correctly. But I think our bodies do stabilize at a certain point. You might go over a little bit, like get a bit bigger than you normally would, but then you'll sort of come down. And I think there is that sort of stabilization that you naturally will achieve.
of course.
But yeah, it's hard, you know, it's really hard. There's just all these images around us, mixed messages. I think that we are getting better and better in society. I think the modeling industry is changing too. It was a little too late, but it's happening, you know.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. And I hope that the future generations coming up will benefit from it positively.
Of course, because I mean, it's so beautiful to see girls just be inspired, not by this look that is supposed to be the look, but they're looking at other beautiful things in life. It's not just, the thing is that I always tell the people that follows me, sometimes social media can help you, and sometimes it could be your worst enemy. If you
Totally.
don't know how to handle, if you don't know how to handle social media, obviously people just post happiness and happy this. I bought a house, I got this, I got that, and everything. But they start making this fake imaginary story in their head, wanting that life. But they're human beings, they're having problems. Sometimes they wake up and they see they look at the mirror and they're like, oh, I don't like myself. But you don't know that because they don't post that, you know.
No, they don't.
New generation, they're very stuck into social media and be like, oh, I need to be like this, oh, because people, I have to be. And I always tell people, just be you, be authentic. That's what people love. People love when you're you, and that's it. For example, when people tell me like, oh yeah, I'm Mexican, yeah, me encanta, like I love it, you know, like, oh, but you were born in LA. I was like, yes, but I was raised in Mexico. So my whole life, I was.
So you were born in LA, and then did you move to
when
Mexico?
I was 5 years old. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Because my mom, she's Mexican, and my dad, he's Venezuelan. So it's a crazy story just because, you know, my parents are singers. They're singers. And yes. I remember my mom met my dad because my dad was making an audition, and she went and she auditioned, and then my dad is like, okay. And then whatever, she was 18. My dad was, I think he was 30. Yeah, he was. My dad was savage. He's a savage. But they worked and whatever. They got married, and then they moved to Monterrey, Mexico. And they were like, because they had to work, and they were like, oh my God, we love this place. Okay, let's drop everything over there and let's come over, live over here.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my God, you know, like, what is this? But I loved it. I love the people. I love the food. The food is amazing. You haven't been to Mexico?
No, I haven't. I was just talking before about how I would love to go to Mexico. My mum's been there a few times, but I've never been yet.
Oh, you're gonna love it. Mostly, for example, people that tell me is like, you're not gonna come back just because of the food. The food is just amazing. The food, it's all natural, you know? And they make everything. You see them making tortillas, they're making everything. So it's,
you don't have that factory sort of setup that you would have in America, where it's really like profit driven.
The fruit, it's amazing. Over here they put all this chemical and stuff to like for the fruit to last longer, and it's like I'm not eating fruit either. So where do I go, and exactly where do I find natural things? And you have to, and the thing is that it's expensive. when you go, that's why people that they want to become like healthy and not even vegan, everything, pescatarian, whatever, it's hard just because it's so expensive. It's so expensive. Then you go to McDonald's and then it's like $1.
I know there's a serious problem, because the thing is it's cheap with, you know, the money that you have there in person, but the thing is that it's actually costing the planet. You know, and the economy, like it's so detrimental. Like you don't see all the hidden costs. And a lot of it's heavily subsidized by the government. Like taxpayer money in the US and in Australia is being funneled into animal agriculture. So it's like, it is costing us. We're just not seeing it there at the moment. But with our tax money for the environment, we're still paying for this, you know?
I'm gonna tell you a story. My dad, when he was little, and this is a sad story. It's not a pretty story, but when he was little, he wanted a pet, right? He wanted a pet. So
I feel like I kind of know where this is going.
My grandparents, they were like, oh, he wants a pet, but you know, like a dog. So they got him a pig, right? They got him a small pig. So he was so excited, you know, he was like, yes, I love my pig, whatever. And then he started growing. The pig obviously starts to grow and stuff. So the pig, and the pig was like, I'm gonna sleep in your bed. So my dad was like, yeah. And my grandparents were like, oh my God, like she's so big, but they loved her. They were like, oh yeah, they're so cute.
Pigs are like dogs.
Exactly. So he will come back from school and she will be waiting for him, just for him to just open that door and run towards him. No, like my dad tells me that it was love. So that happened. And then one day my dad went to school again. When he came back, he was looking for her and he's like, where's my pig? And then he would go out and where's my pig? But Mom, where's my pig? Oh no, I don't know, babe. Like, where's your pig? Like, I don't know. He's like, but I can't find her. And they were like, oh, puppy, I don't know. So he started looking. So then when he comes back to the house, she sees my grandma crying. And then he's like, what happened, Mom? What's wrong? And she's like, I'm sorry, but we needed the money. When she said that, my dad, so he knew a person like 2 blocks down that would buy pigs. So automatically he went off. He grabbed his bicycle and he went like he was, please be alive. So when he arrived, she was there just already dead, right?
Oh no.
For him, he was devastated. He was like, but you know, my grandma, they were struggling with money. So she was like, babe, I'm sorry. Like, I needed the money to buy you clothes for the school, you know? And that is crazy, because at the end of the day, like animals, they feel everything. So I can't imagine all those poor animals like factories and just being manipulated. Like, for example, the cows, I was looking how many hormones they put into them. It's horrible.
I know people say, oh, you know, vegan food, there's a lot of chemicals in it. It's like, hang on a second, your meat and 99% of meat in America comes from animals that are factory farmed. 99%. In Australia, it's 95%, right? And it's like, your meat is pumped with hormones. Antibiotics, like they are pumped full of antibiotics so that they don't get sick, because they're living in such close quarters. And it's like, there is nothing healthy about that. It is, and antibiotic resistance is a massive thing too. Like, people are dying in the millions every year because of antibiotic resistance, most of which, I think it's up to 80% of antibiotics are actually given to animals in animal agriculture.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And they're genetically manipulated. You know, they can't walk properly. They grow so big because we want them to be, you know, bigger the better, the more profit sort of thing.
It's crazy. The chickens, I can't believe it. Like, I can't believe it. It's just something like, it's not human. People don't understand, and I think society needs to understand and needs to learn, educate yourself with all this information that you have, because now you have it. It's an easy way to have all this information and be like, okay, like, something is wrong, you know, we're doing something wrong, you know, and it's crazy. But at the same time, I think the world is changing a lot, and people are looking and analyzing everything, and it's so cool that your family is vegan too.
Yeah, I love that. I'm so proud of my parents, and especially my dad, because there's a lot of pressure, misinformation, and propaganda for men, I think, especially in terms of veganism, because there's this idea that being a carnivore and eating meat is such a manly thing to do, and you're not a man if you don't do it. But it's just crazy, because there's nothing less masculine than paying someone to slit the throat of an animal for you and do all of that on your behalf. You're not going out there with a spear hunting, are you? It's just like, there's nothing manly about it. So I'm especially proud of my dad.
For example, it's like, you couldn't go out and kill an animal, right? So
no, a lot of people couldn't.
You don't think that. Obviously, it's in your plate, right? Okay, it's good, it tastes good. But I bet you, if it was the other way around, that you had to go and kill your food, trust me, you wouldn't be able to do it. That's just nuts, you know? And it's amazing.
I mean, people do go hunting, but at the same time, you know, they say, oh, it's natural to eat meat, it's natural. It's like, okay, let's say the few people that do go hunting, which is probably closer to what is natural, they're using guns. They're using these man-made machines that are relatively new too. And it's just, they're not killing them with their bare hands or their canine teeth, which, you know, by the way, a lot of herbivores have canine teeth. Yeah. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it is. And I think people have to, like, understand that, I mean, it's not right. It's not right, because at the end of the day, like I said, they feel, it's so crazy, because I was talking to my mom and I was like telling her how, like, animals, they treat their babies or like, you know, their the surroundings better than we do, because we're always fighting with each other. We're always in that.
Well, we're committing wars. Like, we have wars going on at the moment. Like, we're blowing each other up in the millions, and it's just like, it's just crazy to me. Like, we think we're so advanced and we think we're so superior to these other beings, and yet look at us, we're literally killing ourselves. And the human population and the human race isn't going to last much longer if we continue the way we're doing what we're doing. We're pillaging the earth.
It's very selfish, very selfish. And that's why I think new generation have to be the voice and have to change the world, because if we don't do that, then the world is gonna go downhill.
Yeah.
You know, and it's sad because, you know, now that we have the platforms like social media and stuff like that to educate people, like really inform people about what can we do to make the world better, how can we fix it, you know. And sometimes it's like, even social media, they only are putting all this crap into our minds, and they're controlling every human being, you know. And it's sad because it's sad.
There's a lot of doubt being put in people's minds as well. Exactly. That's all you need, is just that little bit of doubt, and then you just think, well, I don't know what to believe, so I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing.
Exactly, with everything. For example, I was looking, it's out, for example, if I look for, I don't know, let's say obviously vegan. So now my whole social media, it's about, they put me like publicity, everything is vegan, you know. So imagine people that are looking for guns and they're looking for,
Oh,
I don't know, some like fetish thing or whatever. Like you don't know because
something that can harm other people.
they have
Yeah.
access, simple access to just, you see whatever you want on social
That's
media.
true. It's tailored to the individual, and it is a scary thing, and we also choose who we follow as well. And I think there should be a lot more education going on in regards to social media. I think it should be the next thing that is introduced, the next class that is introduced to schools. You know, there should be a class on social media, how to navigate social media. Who do you follow? What do you do in order to look after yourself?
Why do you follow them?
Physically?
You have to really think, and why
That's a great
do you follow them? You know, like why is the reason? Like,
Yeah.
because I always say, when you follow somebody, it's because it's somebody that is gonna give you positive vibes. It's gonna motivate you, you know, to be a better person. You're not gonna follow the person that only does dumb things in their life and they're doing bad things just to be cool, you know. Like I said, just be genuine, like love yourself, empower other people, you know. And like yourself, you're empowering a lot of people, and that's amazing with your platform, you know.
Thank you. I hope I do. But the other thing is, like, there will be people that might not, you know, look at my page and feel good, you know. So it is, I am catering to an audience, but it's a specific audience. And I wouldn't suggest that I would necessarily be healthy and good for every young girl to follow. Like, you've got to find people that do empower you. Like, I know we were talking about, you know, eating disorders or feeling the need to stay skinny. When I was younger, I think it must have started at about the age of 15, where I started thinking, I need to be skinny. Like, I need to stay skinny. And I was obsessed with it, sort of thing. And this carried on until I think I was about 20, when I got my first like proper modeling job. But for all those years, like, I was trying to stay skinny. I was doing my best to stay skinny. And I would look up things like
were you happy?
No, I don't think I was happy. No, I wasn't. And I was happy at certain moments with my body if it was doing what I wanted it to do.
You were happy because people were accepting. Like, you were looking for like the green light from other people. You know what I mean? Like, oh, people like my body, so this is great. You know, it was and because
the green light from society.
Exactly. And it's hard for a young girl, you know, that she wants to be a model, right? But the prototype is like, you have to be skinny. But at the same time, like, you have to be like, no, darling, no. Like, where's the manual?
Who wrote this? Is it legally binding?
Exactly, like, you tripping, like, you know. And there's a lot of and I love all the modeling right now, because there's a lot of different, you know, culture, and it's just beautiful because it's going
diversified so much. And you know what I'm especially excited about in the modeling industry is the introduction, well, not introduction, but we're seeing more and more models that are older.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that we need so much more of, because there's a lot of pressure to be skinny. And I think we are dealing with that by introducing models of varying sizes. But there's a lot of pressure to stay young, and you know, wrinkles are bad and all this sort of stuff. Like, there's all these ideas fed to us. And I think it is so important to have models that are older. I know that I find it very empowering when I see a model that's in her 40s, 50s, 60s and above. Like, I just love it. It makes me feel good. So I follow a lot of models like that, and a lot of pages that show the beauty of women of varying ages.
Exactly. And for example, it's crazy because at the same time, people are scared to just be like, oh no, I'm turning 30, now I'm 40, and then what am I gonna do? And it's like, girl, let me tell you something. I was walking, I was in a restaurant, and I saw this very handsome man. He's in probably his 50s, but he was gorgeous. I was like, oh my God, like, he's gorgeous. He is gorgeous. Like, boy, keep doing what you're doing, cause
I tell you what, I love older men. I think that,
yes.
It's like, give me a silver fox any day.
No, but at the same time, they own it. And you know when they own it, they feel it. They don't.
It doesn't matter.
They don't lose
They own it.
sexiness. You know, like when they're talking to you, they're like, and you're like, this is beautiful. Like it's like you're okay, you're great. But it's true. And for example, changes the topic. For example, I always do lives, and people ask me like, Danelly, how do you do it? How do you, like there's a lot of hate. Because I was in a singing show in 2016, and I was one of the winners. But during all the competition, I was the most hated person on the show. Why? Because that's what I love to do. So I was very confident, right? I was very confident. I was always have that like, no, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it because this is what I do, right? And all of the girls were very skinny, very skinny. I was the one who had the boobs, the ass. I was the one who was like, and people were on social media, they were like, you're fat, you're ugly, you're this, you're that. No, horrible. Like you shouldn't be there. Like, look at all the girls, they're so beautiful. What are you doing, And that was that point of my life that I sat down and was like, why am I getting mad? Why am I getting mad at these comments? Because at the end of the day, if I'm getting mad, it's because I believe what they're saying. If you believe what they're saying, then of course, exactly. If they tell you you're ugly and I get mad, then you feel ugly. Oh, you're fat. I get mad. Then I feel fat. It's just you. If they tell you, oh, you're the most ugly person, and you're like, really? Because I look at myself in the mirror and I see only gorgeous person in the mirror. So it's like, it's crazy because I had to go through that to really, really love myself. And people would hate it. People would just be like, why this girl doesn't care? Like, she doesn't care. And I didn't care. Like, I was like, listen, life is too short to be crying. The thing is that, what are they doing for you? What are they doing in your life? The people that are in your life, it's because they love you, because they care about you. You're never going to see those people. So
and the other thing we've got to remind ourselves is these people that feel the need to leave these nasty comments, they're struggling. They must be going through something to feel the need to leave those comments. And do you know what? This is why I know. I've learned firsthand, because I went through a really dark period in 2016 where I struggled mentally. I even went into a psychosis. Like, I was not well, right? And I had really dark, negative thoughts. And so what did I do? I went to social media and posted negative comments. I was an A grade nasty person. Like, I was not nice, right? Yeah. And I look back at that and I just think, oh my God, how could I do that? Well, the same reason that other people do it online, like, they are going through shit. Like, they are not well to feel the need to do that. Because if you're happy within yourself and you're at peace, you don't do that.
The thing is that people, it's like, for example, a person that, I don't know, they do, drugs. When they say, hey, do it with me. Hey, do it with me. Because they see a healthy person, right? And they feel like they know they're doing something bad and they're not happy. So they want to pull people down. And that's what they do. All of people are that are struggling, that are depressed, that are, the only way to make them feel better is to make someone worse.
Yeah.
So that will make them feel like they have power. And more in social media. Social media, you can pick your phone and be like, yeah, you this, and that's it. And that's it.
So easy. Yeah.
Or you actually have to go to this guy's house and be like, listen, I don't like you, bro. All right. But now you can just pick the phone and be like, listen, and be fighting the whole day with the person on social media. it's crazy. It's crazy. And I don't, and there's a lot of young girls, for example, there's a lot of young girls that they only want the attention, right? So if they go giving you love, but they don't receive the attention, then they go to the negative way to see if they get a reaction, right?
And you know what? They're more likely to get a reaction by being negative.
Exactly.
And I've had to learn to ignore those comments. I've had to learn, don't fuel them, because all you're doing is you're helping that person along in their negative path. Like, you're not helping them psychologically by responding, because you're teaching them, you're reinforcing this idea that you will get attention doing that. And it's just, I need to stop. I've tried. I'm like, just ignore it. Don't fight back. It's fine.
Exactly. And it's so, for people like that had social media and have followers and all the things, they have to be careful. At the end of the day, they have this huge power that they don't understand. If you go and, oh, I'm a kick the dog because it's funny, or I'm gonna do crazy things because
or I'm gonna promote eating meat on social media to my millions of followers. Like, it's just, you don't realize what you're doing.
No, exactly, because you give wrong information, and you don't know how people are gonna take it, because we're different. We're not the same. Like, trust me, I wasn't good at school, so I'm a get information differently from a person that it's in school right now and be like, oh no, because this, and then and I have friends that I ask, hey, listen, what about depression? Like, what is depression? And they explain, because they want to become a doctor, but it's like, you have to know your information to actually be, on social media and be like, hey, no, you're wrong. Why? Like, you have to know your information before you go there and hurt somebody's feelings,
Definitely. And I think it would be very naive of any influencer, including myself, to think that I know everything, or that what I put out there is necessarily all factual. Like, we need to realize that and be open-minded to the fact that we're always learning. And so we should think about it, because I think that the problem really is worst when it is that the influencer or the person with the big following thinks that they know everything. Exactly. Thinks that they've got all the facts. It's like, no one does.
Exactly.
Be open to that.
I agree with you. And for example, what do you have to say to your followers? Because they want to know that it's not hard, that it's gonna be difficult, that they wanna like, make their dreams come true. It's not an easy way. So if you have like something that would help them to understand and to help them in general and everything, like, what would you have to tell them?
What would I tell them?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start. I guess you've said it many times, like, people love you when you're yourself. So I think that is crucial. It's like, you might not know who you are, but it's like, explore, feel free to experiment, put something on that you wouldn't normally wear, try something new, like, just go for it. And I think that helps you figure out who you are, and also be wary, like we've talked about, of who you're following. There's a lot, I guess. Jeez.
No, it is, because at the end of the day, they see you and they're like, wow, she's out there doing what she loves to do, then I could do the same thing, and
that's it. Because they don't have to do, like, they just by being yourself, they can do that. And it might not look the way it looks for you, for someone else, but by being yourself, it gives them the ability and the opportunity to do the same thing. It might look very different, they might still dress differently, but they have that motivation. Hey, if she can be herself, I can be myself too.
Exactly.
And I think that is really important. That's leading the way. And I do try and be mindful as well of what it is hard, because you don't want to make people feel like shit about themselves.
Yeah, I agree. And I think you're doing amazing, just being yourself and being so you know, oh, like in like we Mexican people, we're very open. We're very open. We're very loving, you know, and I remember when I texted you and I would comment and then you would comment back. I was like, you know, there's this thing that it doesn't matter, you know, like, oh, I have this amount of people watching me. I have this, I'm a model, I'm a singer, I'm whatever. It's just being grounded and being true to yourself, you know?
Yeah, being humble as
Exactly.
well.
Always.
Like I'm not better than anyone else. You're not better than, it's like we've got to remind ourselves that just because we might be influencers or we might be doing a certain career does not make us better. Like, too, you know, it's such a big thing.
We're just doing what we love to do.
Yeah.
And that's the amazing part of it, because at the end of the day, you wake up and you're like, geez, I'm doing what I love to do. Because there's people,
it's crazy.
They're going to their jobs and they're miserable and they're like, I have to do this. No, you don't. The thing is that people want things to come easy. Easy come, easy goes. So
yeah, that's true.
You have to work. How did you get the followers? Because I worked. I cried. I laughed. Yeah. I didn't sleep. I had to go out there. And they knocked me, but I came right back, and that helped me. You know, they have to understand that it's not easy, but it's worth it. 100% worth it.
It is. Doing what you love every day and turning it into your passion into a career is such an empowering thing to be able to do. I know for me, it took me several years before I even got paid for a single modeling job. Like, I was modeling, I was organizing photo shoots, I was putting myself out there on social media. I started on Facebook, like a fan page on there in 2009. Like, I got laughed at school. People were like, who does she think she is? She's not a model. Like, if Steph can be a model, anyone can be a model. Like, I remember the quote so well. I'm just like, oh, you know, and it's like, she's too big to be a model. Like, it was just, but I did it anyway. Like, I pushed and pushed and pushed. It took me years and years.
You believed in yourself. And that's
I certainly doubted myself. Like, there were points where I was like, can I do it? Should I be doing it? Like, I had moments of doubt, which I think is normal and I think it's healthy.
Of course. I think I kept pushing more. That pushes you more to do, like, no. Like, you know, like sometimes, like, okay, but I'm gonna do it anyways, because people hate it.
They do.
Hate it. People hate when you're like, I don't care, I'm gonna still do it. If you don't like it, I'm gonna still do it. So people still, that's why I always tell people that hate you, they really love you. Because first of all, they're wasting your time on following you, on commenting, whatever. They admire you because you're doing what you love to do and you're happy. So they want to be you. They want to be like, I want to be happy just like her, but I hate it because I'm not. So stop what you're doing and focus on yourself. Be like a horse. When they put the things for the horse, they're not looking she's doing that. She's doing that. Don't get distracted. Just do what you meant to do, and that's it. And be happy. Enjoy life. Life is too short to be like all like dramatic and be like, I can't do it. No. I had a surgery. I have 20 screws on my back. I'm like, hello. And people they're like, oh, how do you dance? Because I love to dance.
I was just like, wait a second. I have seen you dance, and are you telling me you've got 20 screws in your back?
I have.
Because your dance moves are killer.
Oh, thank you, babe. You know what I mean? Like, it's inspiring because I had this surgery when I was 13 years old. You know, I was growing up and I was in that stage of, you know, like everything was growing and I wanted to, you know, and then that happened. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have a scar. Oh my God, I'm not going to be able to dance again. Oh no, it's the worst. I was like, this is the worst, right? But I remember I was, they operated the next day. I told the doctor, I'm gonna stand up. And he's like, no, you're not. You're not supposed to stand up until like a week because, you know, like you have a lot of metal in your spine. Yeah. I'm like, I don't care what you say. I'm gonna stand up. Or you help me, or I'm gonna stand up by myself. You have two options. Decide what you want. But I'm standing. And he just looked at the nurse like, this girl is crazy. If we don't help her, she's gonna stand up and this is gonna be horrible. So I remember they were putting me up, and I walked. They couldn't believe it. They were like, this girl it's actually very crazy. But the fact for me was like, no, I'm gonna walk, and I'm gonna be fine, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do. So this is what I do. When I was recovering, I would tell my mom to leave me at the dance studio so I could like just watch the class, and I will learn the choreography in my head. I wouldn't move.
Mentally you would go and do the exercise,
and I will train. And I will train in my mind, and people didn't understand, and they're like, listen, this is, don't feel bad because I have this. I have to work harder. That's another thing. But damn right, I'm gonna do it. And I did it. And then when I started dancing, people were like, girl, what are you doing? Like, you're gonna. And the thing is that I had to stretch an hour before. I had to, like I need to take care of it. But, like, oh, just be careful. I know what my body could take, like I know. So when people come to me and say like, oh, I can't do this. And I say like, are you sure? Or is just your mind tricking you because it's all in your mind. It's all in your head. If you say you can't, you're not going to be able to.
Where there's a will, there's a way. I really think if you really want something, you'll make it happen. And I think some people, they do end up getting disheartened by comments or people trying to pull them down or stop them from doing it. And it really upsets me when I see people's dreams fall to the wayside. It's just like, no, I love seeing people that have a passion, like if they're making music, if they're dancing, if they're painting, and I always want to encourage them. I'm like, you can turn this into something. You can just keep going. It might not, you might not get any monetary gain from it for a while, but just keep going. Yeah. That's what's happening. I'd rather be a starving artist
and
than
what?
working an office
Exactly.
job.
And I was a dance teacher, and I remember, there's always a person that they like to show up. They want to be in the set. They want to be in the front. They want to, like, oh, I could do the whole choreography, and it's great, But then there was this person that it was in the back, and it was trying. He was trying his best. Like he was like just sweating and like getting it done. And I couldn't take my eyes off of him. Why? Because he's putting all his effort, right? He's putting his passion and everything to it, that I wasn't paying attention to the person that wanted to like look at me, like I'm the best. You need to be humble. Yeah. If you're great, then help others to be great, because that's the energy people want. If you want to be better, hang out with better people, be inspired. You're not gonna like, for example, I used to go out a lot, and I remember I don't drink, so they were like, oh, let's have a drink. I'm like, no thank you. And they were like, oh,
what's wrong with her?
Yeah, like, so they would feel bad, and they're like, oh, I'm not gonna drink then. So it's like, good, then I'm doing something positive in your life, my love. That's it. So when people go out with the wrong, that's why parents, when they tell us, oh, be careful, you don't want to hang out with those type of people, because at the end of the day, when you're around them, right, it's not that you're like them, it's that you're around them. The only thing you see is that all nasty stuff, negative stuff, and you're there, so you're like, might as well.
Yeah, and it affects you too. And my mum used to say to me, she's like, you need to stop being so trusting of everyone, and you need to be careful about who you hang out with. Like, that person's not good for you. And I would just be like, oh yeah, whatever. Like, and now I understand. Like, I just think back and I think my mum, she was onto something, I should have listened. And the parents are very wise, you know, they've been around for decades more than us, and we just fail to realize
with
that.
with everything. When they tell us like, bro, I know what I'm telling you. Like, I know what I'm talking about. And I'll be like fighting with my mom, like, tú no sabes, mira, y no me hable. And my mom was like, you'll see, you're gonna fall, and then you're gonna come back crying to me. And then, I think that was the worst. That was the worst, when I had to come back and be like, mira, mami, you're right. I hated that. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna behave. I'm gonna listen to my mom from now on. You know, we're gonna have a conversation, you know, and agree and everything. So I think people need to listen to their parents, you know, because obviously you're growing up and you're like, oh, you know, like, my parents don't know. But when you grow up, you understand everything. You're like, why didn't I listen to my mom and my dad? But you know, it's part of growing too. It's part of growing. And
we gotta experience these things for ourselves sometimes.
Exactly.
But it means that we'll be listening to our parents next time they have something to say as well. But we just think we know everything when we're 15 or 20 years old. It's like, we know everything.
I know they're like, don't talk to me. I know everything. Please. I went through it. In my other life, I went through it. But anyways, closing the conversation, I just wanted to honestly thank you, because it's an honor to just be able to connect, you know. And this is why social media it's amazing, because I'm over here in Miami. And where you're from? Australia?
I'm in Melbourne.
Exactly. So it's like, hello, like, how did we connect? And it just happens. I always say, when it's meant to be, it's meant to be. So I'm so glad that we're having this conversation to help people. You know, this is for better.
I've absolutely loved it. Like, I could sit here and I could honestly talk to you for hours. You have been an absolute pleasure.
No, and this is right now. Imagine in person. My mom is always, because my mom, she talks a lot. So I'm a talker. I love to talk. Like, I love to talk and go out and talk and whatever. That for me, that's my fun time. Just being able to connect with people, different cultures, and it's amazing. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, my love, for doing this amazing Zoom with me. And I hope to meet you soon. You should come over here to Mexico. I should go.
I want to come to Mexico. I was going to say, I've been to America a few times. I think I'm done with America for a while. Like, I want to go to Mexico.
Just go to Mexico, call me, and we'll link up.
I love that. Thank you so much for having me.
Mwah. Love you. Bye.
I love you. I shall name you Ruben.